Hello, runners, and welcome to Funny Running Stories. Woo!
Yay!
I'm Martise Moore, the Run Faster coach, and I could sure use a laugh these days. I don't know about you. So that's why I'm super excited to introduce our guest today, Chloe Lewis. Woo!
Yay!
Chloe is from New York City. And how long have you been running, Chloe?
Well, I'm actually from Chicago. I
Okay.
moved to New York like 10 years ago after college. And I've been running, I would say pretty much my whole life.
Oh, nice. Very good. We won't ask you how long that's been. Okay.
Yeah. Long enough. Running at a very mediocre level my whole life.
All right. Well, hey, as long as you're running, it's all good. Okay,
Exactly.
So make us laugh. Tell us your funniest running story.
Okay, well, no pressure. So I tend to find that the funniest stories about running all come based off of like the grossest things that happen when you're running,
Sure.
because the grossest things happen to runners, and we are so outrageously comfortable talking about our bodily fluids and functions when when I have this conversation with a normal person or a non-running friend, and they're like, oh my God, you did what? You did what? So I guess it comes from the first time I ran 16 miles in New York City. I decided to run it after work on one of those like outrageously difficult hot days in New York. And I don't know if you're from New York, if you visited New York in the summer, but it is sweltering. And I live in Manhattan, and it's this special kind of disgusting heat where the concrete like gives back heat to you, and the garbage just smells like even worse hot garbage. But I was prepared. I had, my hydration pack. I knew where all the bodegas were that I could stop at to get ice cubes to stuff in my sports bra without like anybody asking any questions about why this lady was asking for just ice cubes at a bodega. But I set out with two friends, and the route that I was going to run was essentially down Manhattan to the Williamsburg Bridge, over the Williamsburg Bridge into Brooklyn, and then back over the Manhattan Bridge back into Manhattan, and then home. Mm-hmm. And so I had some friends meet me, and they were going to run the first 7 miles, and they were going to be there like stopping right at the base of the first bridge. So I was like, okay, great. So I go over the first bridge. I'm at 8 miles in. I'm feeling okay. And I get to the next bridge to run back into Manhattan. And all of a sudden I'm feeling a little grumbly. Like I'm going to need to find a bathroom sooner rather than later. Like I am 100% going to poop my pants.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay, well, it's humid, it's hot, I'm eating a lot of gel, just like a whole lethal combination put together. So I text my, who was my boyfriend at the time, he's not my fiance. I texted him and I said, I don't think I'm going to make it. And he goes, okay, mind over matter, babe. And I text him back. I said, well, the matter on my mind is that I'm going to poop my pants. Oh. And I was like, okay, well, sure. Oh, so I put my phone away, and this girl starts running towards me, and she's got her hand out for a high five. And that's something weird about the running community in New York, is you won't get a lot of people to look you in the eye, but this girl was like gunning for a high five. And I was like, all right, lady, I don't know if you want to touch me right now. Like, I don't want to touch me right now. So I give her a high five, and I'm like, where is the closest bathroom? Instead of like, you go, girl, which I know is like exactly what she was looking for. And she was like, there's not one really close to here. And so as we're running, we're passing each other saying this. And so I'm thinking, all right, well, I'm gonna die on this bridge. This is where I die. I poop my pants and I die. Oh. So I make it to the bathroom along the West Side Highway, which there is, of course, a line. And I'm like, okay, this is just not going to happen. And I'm standing there like swaying back and forth. I call this my poo-poo dance. And I'm obviously like sweating. I'm disgusting. I'm wearing a water backpack. I mean, it is like your perfect storm. And I'm thinking to myself, what part of clothing can I take off if I need to jump behind that bush and just leave there and never come back for? And so then I finally get into like the dirtiest, most disgusting public bathroom you have ever seen in your entire life. And I close my eyes and I'm sitting there and I was like, I cannot believe that I have made it to this bathroom. And because there was a moment there on the Manhattan Bridge where I was like, call my parents, tell them, time of death, 8:02 p.m., cause of death. She pooped her pants too hard while trying to run 16 miles. Like, I was just like, this is what my life is. This is what's happening to me right now.
Were you training for a race?
Yeah, I was training for the Chicago Marathon.
Oh, okay.
So
please tell me you killed it in the marathon.
I did pretty well. Awesome. It was worth almost pooping my pants. But then I got home and it was supposed to be like date night. You know, my fiance was cooking dinner and he saw the look of me and I was like, just don't touch me. Don't look at me. Don't touch me. I need to go sit in the shower for the rest of my life. So let's just say, yeah, it was horrifying at the time. I was like hysterically crying. You're in the moment and you're like, this is the only thing that matters, that I finished the 16 miles. But then you're like, wait a minute, I'm also shitting my pants. Like, what is happening? And it's just, you know, I listened to that song from Chorus Line on the way, like after I had finally found a bathroom. That song, it's like, can't forget, won't regret what I did for, I'm a terrible singer, but they're like, what I did for love. Because I was like, I must really want to run this marathon because I am losing my dignity out here on the streets of New York.
Right? Well, you're not the first and you're not going to be the last. But kudos to you. Thank you.
Yeah. It was a long night, to say the least.
Wow. That's awesome. Yeah. So what does your running life look like these days?
Yeah,
less
so
poopy, I hope.
Yeah, less poopy. I mean, I found the right nutrition and,
good.
You know, everything. And I try not to run in the humidity as much as I can avoid it now. I did have a coach this summer tell me that humidity is the poor man's altitude training. So I have to like give myself kudos every time I run in the humidity. But my running life now is weird. I was supposed to run the 50th anniversary for New York, and now it's like I run 2 to 3 times a week. And it's weird. It used to be my social life. It was like whenever I wanted to see my girlfriends, I would be like, let's go for a run. Or we had this, you know, run and wine on Fridays. We'd go for a run and we ended at a bar and we have a glass of wine. And so now it's kind of lonely. It's a weird, I've had to really learn to, change my relationship to running. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to train for a virtual race. I've done a couple. I did a virtual turkey trot, which was so fun. But yeah, it's a weird relationship that I've had to kind of readjust and relearn, like, who am I as a runner without a race to train for, without, you know, do I love running without a goal, or what is the definition of a goal? You know, and I think starting Your Best Running Friend for me was not only like I started it before the pandemic as a place to put all of the jokes that I wrote while I was running, because that's also something I would do. Like I would be that crazy person talking into my phone, doing a voice memo while I was running, so I didn't fall over because I'm trying to like write down all the thoughts that I have. But yeah, it's been like a 2 to 3 times a week type thing, and I don't give myself any mileage goals. I just kind of go out and run until I feel like not running anymore. And some days that's 5 miles, and some days that's 2 miles, and some days I walk up the hills, and some days I run up the hills. I'm just trying really hard not to be hard on myself, or to have expectations for myself that are unreasonable, because like, yeah, am I really hoping that I get to train and run the New York Marathon next November? Yeah, I think we all are.
Yeah.
But I'm also reminding myself that anything could change in a minute, right? Like I've had 2 stress fractures. I'm sure if you've ever been injured, like that changes your relationship to running as well. So like you could twist your ankle, God forbid. But like, I think my relationship to running that's a very long answer to your short question about what my running looks like now. It's very disjointed and weird. And
well, it's very relatable. That's why we're doing this, because we need a laugh.
I feel very amiss. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I'm not the only person who's having this like weird existential crisis. I asked my PT the other day, I was like, what do I do about this like existential running crisis that I'm having? She's like, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to tell you to do, because nobody knows what to do. Yeah, you could train for a virtual race, or you could put a running or a training plan together, or you could just let yourself be where you are right now. And that's kind of what I'm doing, is I'm just letting myself be where I am right now. And I run when I want to run, and I don't run when I don't want to run, because I don't want it to feel like a chore or something I have to do.
Right.
Because when I'm training for a race, I really love training for a race. I never feel like I have to get this run in. I get to get this run in. I get to do this. I choose to do this. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now. It's definitely, I'm sure you're feeling the same way. It's this a weird, crazy time where I'm at the like root of it, though. I really miss my friends, and I see them, we FaceTime, we text all the time, but running with a friend,
it's not the same.
It's not the same. It brings a closeness and a quickness to the miles. And even when we have masks on and we're being safe in Central Park, it's weird, because I can't like hug you hello. I can't give you a sweaty hug. I can't be like, let's go grab a glass of wine all sweaty in the freezing cold sitting outside. You know what I mean? Like, it's just weird. It's a weird time, and I miss that community. And so I'm really glad that the Instagram community that I kind of haphazardly created for myself has become a space for so many other people. And I mean, you found me on Instagram. And so I'm so grateful that my running has transformed in that way because of the pandemic. I don't think it would have happened. I don't think I would have needed to create that community for myself because I felt as lost without the pandemic. So in that way, I'm really thankful that my running has transformed.
Yeah, we are too. So I didn't say earlier, but Chloe is actually a comedian, and you can follow her on Instagram. What's your handle?
It's at Your Best Running Friend.
See, don't you just want to follow her just because of the name? Yeah, so that's awesome. And do you find that you're getting more material because of what's going on these days, or?
Yeah, definitely. I'm finding I'm getting a lot more inspiration, whereas like when I was running really consistently, I'd be like, oh, there goes that toenail and that toenail, and I would write a whole series of jokes about toenails. And now, or like if I was chafing, now I chafed more in the summer in a dress than I did in my running clothes. And like those are the kind of jokes that I would write were way more experience based. And now I'm finding that like the material that I want to write is still like I'll pepper in an experience based joke every once in a while because I am running a lot more, that it's getting colder. Like the fall, winter, early spring is my favorite time to train. I'm definitely not a heat runner at all.
As we heard.
Yeah, as you all know, it doesn't really jive with this guy. But one of the things that I'm finding is I'm finding a lot of inspiration from the community, and when I need a pick me up, that's sometimes I write things for myself because I need to hear it. Like I have a lot of really fast friends, and I just wrote something about being a good runner. And yes, I could sit here all day and be like, here is what constitutes a good runner versus a, less experienced runner. There are physical attributes, there are training attributes, there are, times, there are a million different factors that differentiate a professional athlete from a, regular everyday recreational athlete, right? So I was like, okay, fine, but what if you stripped it down and said like, I'm a good runner because I just try. I try. I go out and I go running, and Is it a fast time compared to other people? No, but it's good for me.
Right.
And that's what matters. It's not about anyone else's journey or anyone else's times. Like a guy just commented on my Instagram, all of these different like physical attributes that make you different from other people. And I was like, well, yeah, that's genetics, and that differentiates you. I don't have a lot of those genetics. My dad was an All-American sprinter and went to the Olympic trials. I did not get any of those genetics. I got his love of running, but I did not get his genetic fast body. But so it's one of those things where I find a lot of the times I write for me. And that happens to resonate really deeply with the community. And those are the things that I find so much joy seeing people who are like, you have no idea how much I needed this today. I mean, like I'm going to get choked up by it because this has been such a hard time for everyone. But I think like as an athlete, as a runner, when we're so motivated by there's a race every weekend, it's not just about the race, it's about the community. And I think reminding ourselves that where we are right now is good enough, even if we're not training to qualify for Boston, or we didn't get to actually run the Boston that we qualified, and I have to figure out how to qualify all over again. I mean, that's hard in and of itself as well. I think that's where my content is leading. Still try to be as funny as I can, or I'm feeling that day. But I think now more than ever, we all kind of need to hear that we're enough. Whether it's as a human or a comedian or a runner. That's kind of how it's transformed.
Well, that was beautiful. And actually, I think it really hits home for a lot of people. So thank you for sharing that. And thank you for sharing your fun, in hindsight, fun story.
Funny now. Very funny.
Funny now. Not funny so much during. I think we're gonna have a lot of those kinds of stories, I think, going forward.
You might.
So way to set it off, Chloe. Okay, well, thanks again. We're gonna follow you again. What's your handle again?
It's at Your Best Running Friend. You can find me on Instagram.
Awesome. And we're definitely going to put that underneath the show notes. So thank you so much, Chloe, and happy running to everybody. And make sure you still run and have fun and get some laughs in. And we're all in this together, like Chloe said, and we're all enough. And we're all trying to just get through this. So thank you, Chloe, for putting a smile on our face for this moment. Thank you.
Of course. Thanks so much, Martise. Have a great one.
You too. Bye.
Bye.